this weekend I was asked, how do I practice? So I'm going to show you 10 steps that I use. The first step, I listen and get familiar with the song or the movement, and then I find the key signature. The second step is I listen to the bass and I try to find the progression that is being played. The third step, I listen to the melody and I try to find it. That's where step 1 helps. So on step 4, I try to put it all together. I'm using basic chords or basic harmonies really. Then I reshape the harmony and the chords to be as close as possible to the original. Now the 5th step is I try to play without looking at my fingers because it helps me map out the whole progression in my mind. The next step is I try to master it. I want to get it as good as possible. The next step is I try to bring my own flair to it, just to try and bring my own signature into it. Then I try to flush out my brain, trying to reset it by trying to play something else or a next portion of the song that I'm trying to learn or something. Basically just to get my mind off it, just to give it a break really, but also to help my memory just set. So the 9th step is I get back to it just to see if I can play it still and if I can remember the movement I've just learned. Then comes the hardest but the most important step, the 10th step. I use the circle of 5th or 4th. Generally, I like to use the circle of 4th because usually the movements in music happen in 4ths. So every 4th up. So I'm trying to get the progression done or the movement or whatever I've just learned. I'm trying to get it in every key, but on the rough manner, not perfectly, as roughly as possible, but so long as I get it, the gist of it. And what I'm doing by doing this is I'm forcing new pathways in my brain. So I'm creating new pathways, new neuron connections and stuff by actually using what I've learned in step 2, which is the chord progression and the bass progression. So I'm using that in my knowledge of the major scales of the 12 keys to actually force my brain in every new key to find again the progression. And that helps me to really know to the back of my hand the progression. It helps me really avoid the trap of visually transpose from one key to the next half step, which a lot of people do. But when you actually move in 4ths or 5ths, each key is almost like a whole new field. So you have to find again the progression. And that exercise is hard. It's very hard. It takes me about 20 to 30 minutes. At the end of that 20-minute marathon of going through each of the 12 keys, my brain is literally shattered and tired.
20 minutes later.
So after I finished the whole cycle of the 12 key practice, when I came back to the C-sharp key, I could play it even better than what I did 20 minutes prior. So before the the 12 key exercise. So yeah, that's why for me the 10th step is the most important step.